let's continue our hot streak of cursing our teams for the Copenhagen major. And for once, let's start off with the low matches, just to go up in inequality, potentially. And we have M80 versus Reven. I believe that today Reven was in their worst competitive siege match we have seen in long. I can't really remember a match that I felt was this bad for quite some time. But I'm not gonna blame Reven as much as I'm gonna play Scars later. But for a matchup like this, you technically have a T3 tier 2 EU team go up against M&M, which even though they are in a low, I believe they deserve mid more than certain teams that are in mid. And I just believe that M&M, whilst they are in low, they can if any team is gonna do all the three best of threes to get it to phase 3, it will probably be M&M. And next up we then have M80 against Falcons. And M80 is a team that I believe many people had high hopes for going into this major. And for right reasons that are, they have a stacked lineup. But the questions I have gotten now after having seen them on 2 playdays, is it like a typical super team where you just bring in stacked player, but you aren't able to do anything, which is so common in Siege? Or is it that they are still having not really felt what they want to do, what roles they want to play, got all the fine details together? Falcons, on the other hand, they played really good in phase 1, but since that I haven't really had much positive to say about them. Like, an okay day 1, a somewhat worse day 2, and I'm just gonna say, well, even though I'm really happy with what Falcons are doing, I want to see more out of them. And do I believe they can beat M80? In a best of 3, I'm really interested to see, and that's why I'm gonna predict Falcons to win, because I believe that M80 is in a really shit positioning right now. They aren't really doing anything that makes me say, wow, this team is good. They are just in a position where I can say, hey, Spoilt is correct. And that's basically all I have to say for M80. The other 4, I don't really have much positive to say about them. They just don't feel like they are doing as much of the heavy lifting as Sport does. And whilst maybe not all should, do the killing, so, when you have maps like Chalet or this, when you aren't able to open up the walls you need, or you aren't able to flush out the defenders, that's more of the issues I'm having with M80 currently. Now then, to follow up with the mid matches. And Scars D+. Scars, I don't know where to start with this team. I think they should feel almost ashamed of where they are. They are meant to be one of the top 8 best teams in the world, if you look at how they are getting into phase 2. They should be the best in Japan. But I just believe that how they are playing is a joke. If you look at the Reven match today, they were awful. It's like a ranked match, or where you just have 2 5 stacks that like to do all the rank things, like running out, doing stupid shit. Whilst D+ though, if there's one epic team I can say I can have some okay to, I don't hate what they are doing, it is D+, because they feel somewhat coordinated. Wookieman today had a really good day. He felt like he was all around Villa, but at the key positionings at the right time as well. So I'm really happy with how D+ played today. And I just believe you can't cannot give the win to D+ here. And then we have a battle for the yellow and black, with SSG going up against Wolves. Wolves had a quite bad game today against VP, and SSG had a quite mediocre game against FaZe. I will give it though that Wolves and VP, since both are in Europe, they should probably know each other better than SSG and FaZe, which are an NA and LATAM team. And even though I felt Wolves looked completely lost at the whole game today, SSG looked like they had a plan for the first half, but when the second half of today, they just look kind of lost. Whilst I don't believe, and if anything issues more happened today, I believe that was Wolf's guns really didn't come alive. I believe Deadshot barely got a kill. I believe that, they got quite a lot of opening deaths. And SSG on the other hand though, I believe they was just outstratted. But I'm gonna give it to Wolves because my gut feeling says so anyway. And I just want to see Wolves do better. Then we have NIP going up against Dark Zero. And Dark Zero, I believe they had a shit day today. They was not able to do anything against Sonic's theme park. And theme park is a map that DC seems to like and want to go to a bit. If this is because they don't have as many strats for theme park, or is it that they want to hide something else on other maps, only time can tell. But the NIP, if we get the NIP we saw today, I believe they can take down Dark Zero. But if we see a Dark Zero that we might have seen on Playday 1, that can be a quite solid Dark Zero. But if I'm gonna go with one team, I'm gonna go with NIP over this, because I just felt more confident after today that, yeah, NIP can probably take down Dark Zero. And for the last match in the mid section, we have Liquid against G2. And I'm really disappointed in G2 currently. Even though I'm one that will say that World Champions team will have it hardest, because they are the ones that will probably be studied the most, counter-studied the most, and what reviewed the most. But what they are doing and how they are playing, ain't World Champion material. That's just not good enough. Liquid, they have been looking really good though. Whilst sure, one win was against Reven, and the other game was a loss to W7M. We have normally seen that teams like Liquid and W7M and other LATAM teams that needs the win, it's basically never the LATAM team you expect to win when it comes to LATAM. It's a bit of a weird one, that. But just saying, in what I see from these teams, I'm much more confident in Liquid taking it over G2. Just because I believe that G2 just doesn't look like they have an answer to much today. And that's why I'm going to give it today's victory to Liquid. And now for the high matches, which is still best of ones. And in the first match, you will have VP against FaZe. And VP has just been really dominating these 2 days. Like, in my opinion, they should have 2 7-1s. They have just been looking like such a good package. They have good strategies. They have been able to adapt a lot since, we have seen them last. And I'm really happy that we aren't having the old VP, but they have their way of playing, and they have done it to perfection. FaZe though, they are playing really well at the same time, but just because of how well Virtual Pro are playing. I just feel they are a more complete package. I'm gonna give it to VP. And then for the last match, we have Sonics versus W7M. And even though Sonics have had a really good few matches, I just believe this would be their the first really hard challenge going up for them. Whilst you have Citizen hitting really good shots, they seem to have a good flow in the Sonics camp. W7M have some really good things going for them as well, and that's finally a team I can say Sonics will face that have good things going for them. Keys is having one of his best tournaments I can remember him having. So I just believe that this will be a really close match. But who do I believe it will win? Well, it will come down to whose guns comes alive and quickest. Because this is a match where every round matters. But I just believe that from what I have seen, I'm feeling a bit more confident in W7M. As they took down Liquid, which was and still is my favorite to win it all. They just looked really, really good today. And it was a perfect match today in my eyes. And that's why I'm gonna give it to W7M. And this is how I'm gonna believe day 2 goes. Take care.